Hi guys, it's Stock Curry and welcome back to the channel. Today I have breaking news for you guys. I decided to do a live video instead of a normal video for a couple of reasons. First of all, the breaking news, it's getting really late. I wanted to make sure that I got this out to you guys before the pre-markets open. Another reason is some of the news we're going to talk about today is a little bit complicated. And I wanted to make sure that I was live with you guys so that I could answer any questions that you guys might have, especially given the urgency of it. And the other reason is I have some really big news concerning the channel that I'm going to tell you guys about a little bit later. And I wanted to be live to do that. So altogether, there's a lot of reasons to go live. Plus, I'm also working on 4 hours of sleep right now after being up all night with the baby. So I am trying to cut out about 2 hours of editing time. So there you go. It's a win-win all the way around. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to go over the breaking news first. And I want to get that to you guys right away. After we go through the breaking news, we're going to go through the normal channel video as far as the stock picks from the other YouTubers. And then once we do that, I'm going to give you the channel update, and then I'll answer any questions that you guys might have. So before we get into all of that, I want to remind you guys that I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I talk about today is a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold. These are just my opinions. So please do your own research before investing in any asset. Okay, so we are going to talk about a lot. Let's get into it. We have some big breaking news. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is this. The SEC finalized the rule that allows it to delist foreign stocks for failure to meet audit requirements. So we are going to talk about this in a little bit more detail, but essentially, here's what this is. A couple of things. So this has been ongoing for a long time, okay? This is nothing new. It just got finalized today. So for a long time, the U.S. government, the SEC specifically, wanted foreign companies that were listed in the United States to meet certain audit requirements. And if those companies do not meet those audit requirements, then the SEC wanted the ability to delist those companies. So that's what's going on with that. Now, I see a lot of questions in the comments about NEO. We're going to get to that in a little bit later. Once we get to the stock picks, I'm going to talk about NEO specifically because I know a lot of you guys have questions about that. So this is what's happening as far as the SEC. They're going to now have the ability to delist foreign stocks that don't meet audit requirements. If any stock meets the audit requirements, there's a good chance it will not be delisted. This is just another tool in their tool bag to get rid of companies that aren't good. Trying to prevent another Lucrum Coffee, for example, right? Or Luckin Coffee. You guys remember that, where that turned out to be like this complete fraud with the numbers? That would have been found out if we had been able to audit correctly. And so that's really what the SEC is trying to do, is trying to protect U.S. shareholders from like another Luckin Coffee or anything like that. So what I want to do now is show you the next bit of breaking news. So this came out at 6:52 Eastern time, basically about 7 p.m. Eastern time or 1900. And literally just 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So 4 hours after this came out, just 4 hours after this came out, we got this news. DD Global plans to delist from the New York Stock Exchange. Guys, they didn't say exactly why they were planning to delist, but I got a strong feeling they know there is no way they're going to meet the audit requirements. So literally 4 hours after the SEC says we're going to start delisting companies that don't meet audit requirements, DD Global comes out and says they're going to delist. Now, I want to be clear that they did not say why they are going to delist. They didn't give a reason. They just said that they were going to delist from the U.S. Now, keep in mind that what happened with DD is they started out, it was this ride-share hailing company like an Uber or a Lyft that was in the United States. And guys, if you see any of these scammers on Facebook or whatever, please just don't reply to them and just report them. I really appreciate it. Okay, so DD actually ended up listing on the United States, and they listed on June 30th. Literally, like a day after they listed, the Chinese government was like, oh, I didn't know you guys were going to go public. And so they conducted a data security review, and Didi stock absolutely tanked. I mean, here was the IPO, and the very next day it just goes down and down and down and down. And now it's been hovering around like $7, $8, $9 a share. So what I want to point out is this. I know there's a lot of concern. There's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt and whatnot as far as what is going to happen if a stock gets delisted. So what I want to do right now is I want to show you guys what happens if a stock gets delisted. So I found this article here, and essentially, here's what it is. The shares don't disappear. Like, let's say you held on to a company, Neo, for example, or Didi, and the shares got delisted. You would still hold shares in that company. You don't lose the shares. And this is really important. The share price may or may not be affected by the delisting. So what happens is it basically goes OTC, or over the counter. It's just like buying any penny stock that's OTC right now. Now, if you are trading on, say, Webull, or if you're trading on Robinhood, you know that you can't buy OTC penny stocks. However, if you own an OTC penny stock, say a stock gets delisted, or say you transferred shares into your account and one of them happened to be an OTC penny stock, you are still allowed to sell your shares. You just can't buy any more. But here's the problem, okay? While you still own your shares, you're no longer able to sell them on the exchange. They now become sold over the counter. That's fine. You can still sell your shares. But this becomes a major problem with Chinese companies. And the reason is most foreign companies that are listed in the United States are listed through something called an ADR, or an American Depository Receipt. And what that essentially means is real shares in the company, and whatever foreign exchange it is, could be Germany, could be China, could be Hong Kong, whatever. Real shares get put into a bank in the United States. They simply are American depository, meaning those shares are deposited into an American bank, ADR, American Depository Receipt. And you, when you buy shares, you're getting a receipt for the foreign shares. So you literally are buying real shares that are really held in the United States for a real company. However, when it comes to Chinese companies, it doesn't work that way at all. Chinese companies use a completely different structure called a VIE. And the reason is China has banned ADRs from being used. So VIE structure instead. VIE is a variable interest equity, variable interest entity. And basically what that means is that you are buying shares in a Cayman Islands company. That Cayman Islands company has anywhere from, say, 5 to 50 contracts with the actual company. And those contracts are set up in such a way to where the share price of the Cayman Islands company is going to move in relation to the share price of the actual company. You're not you're not buying shares in the actual company at all. You're buying shares in a Cayman Islands company that has contracts with the actual company to hopefully have the share price move in relation to the actual company. It's called a VIE, variable interest entity. And the problem is when we're looking at stocks like Didi and Neo and Alibaba and Baidu and JD and all these Chinese stocks that could potentially get delisted, or in the case of Didi is getting delisted, how much value do you really have in some Cayman Islands company? The answer is not much. There's very little value there at all. Essentially, it's a speculative play. You're buying it in the hopes that it's going to go up with no true real asset or value in the actual company. And so there's an incredible risk there. So if Didi or whatever goes OTC, what could happen is the share price could absolutely tank, because this is not actual shares in a company. This is shares in a Cayman Islands company with contracts for the actual company. So it's actually a lot riskier when a Chinese company gets delisted than it is when any other foreign company throughout the world gets delisted. Okay, so that's what happens. So what should you do with Didi? I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you. All I can tell you is I would not be surprised if Didi drops significantly on Friday. I wouldn't be surprised at all. because what's going to happen is a lot of people are not going to want to hold on their shares. They're not going to want to hold through the delisting. They just want to get out now. And I personally think that's probably a smart move. Just get out now, cut your losses. You don't want to risk this thing going to zero and being absolutely worthless. So I think we could see a massive drop on DD when the markets open on Friday. I would not be surprised to see DD drop 80%. I mean, it could be trading around, $2 or $3 on Friday. I would not be surprised at all if that happened. So just a risk. Now, given all of that, when I get to NEO a little bit later in this video, I'm going to talk about a little more specific guidance that Larry Jones came up with that I agree, and we'll get there. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to keep banning a couple of these scammers on Facebook. So just one moment here. Okay, let's go on to the next breaking news. So the next breaking news is this. So New York officials have confirmed 5 additional cases of the new pandemic variant in the New York City metro area. Now, here's the problem with that, and here's why this is such a big deal. It's 5 cases. Who cares? We've already known that it was, here in the United States. The problem is it really depends upon where in the United States that occurs. So here in the United States, we are very split between what we call liberals and conservatives. And they both have the best interest of the American people in their minds. They just have very different ways of going about it. So conservatives generally think, okay, we can't shut down the country. We can't shut down the economy, because if we do, it's going to cause massive economic crisis. People are going to lose their jobs. They're not going to be able to pay their bills. We know that suicides increase. And so we can't shut down the economy. We're just going to go through and stay open. The liberals on the other side are saying, we have to shut down the country. We have to, do the mask mandates and shut down businesses, because if we don't, people are going to get sick and people are going to die. And the thing is, both are absolutely correct. They just have very different ways in their viewpoints of how they help people. And so here in the United States, states have a lot of control. We have 50 states, and each state is different. There are very conservative states that just don't shut down, like Florida. And there are very liberal states that will shut down on a whim, like California and New York. So the fact that these cases are showing up in New York is concerning, because New York is far more likely to shut down than a state like Florida or Wyoming or something like that is. And so I just want to let you know that that kind of news, while it's not really that alarming in the grand scale of things, could cause New York to decide to shut down when most other states in the country would not. So just something to be in mind of there, because, if it happens, we could absolutely see a drop in the markets because of that. Okay. The next thing that we are going to talk about is more breaking news. Let me get to it. So we know that as of Friday, it was the very last day that the Congress and Senate had to approve a spending bill before the government shut down. And the really good news is, as expected, Republicans and Democrats worked together, and they met right in the middle. Democrats wanted to extend the spending bill through December 17th. Republicans wanted to extend the spending bill through the end of 2022. And they ended up agreeing on extending the spending bill through, I think it was February 17th, if I'm not mistaken. I can't find it off the top of my head. But yeah, I think it was February 17th. So, February 18th. There we go. So it'll be extended through February 18th. So we now have 3 more months before we have to deal with this again. So we'll see what happens there. But at least that crisis has been averted. And so the government shutdown crisis that could have tanked the markets has now been averted, as we expected. So that's actually good news, and might help prop the markets up a little bit. Now, right now, the futures are pretty flat, and here's why. We actually have some pretty important economic news coming out on Friday. It should be coming out Friday morning, and that is the November jobs report. Now, the thing about this is, given the huge uncertainty that we have right now with the new pandemic variant, with the rising interest rates, with everything that's going on, all eyes are going to be on this November jobs report. This actually becomes a pretty big and important one. So if the jobs report is low, say in the United States, we added less jobs than we expected to, we could see the markets tank on Friday. If the jobs report comes out really good, we added way more jobs than we expected, we could see the stock market absolutely rise, skyrocket on Friday. So it's all going to come down to whatever happens Friday is all going to come down to this November jobs report. I think this gets released at around 8 a.m. Eastern time. I could be wrong on that. It might be 9 a.m. Eastern time. Uh, but it'll be before the markets open. It's going to be after the pre-markets open and before the actual markets open. So I don't have the time on here. It just says Friday morning. Uh, but keep your eye on that. We could see probably just a flat in the market in the pre-markets, and then once this jobs report come out, we should see just this thing absolutely take off. Keep in mind, we are in the middle of massive volatility in the market. We have seen the markets rise and fall more than 1% every single day for the past 5 days. And this kind of major volatility is normally only seen during a correction. So that is all of the breaking news that I have for you guys. I know it was a lot. I know I've got a lot of comments here. What I want to do before we get to the actual stock picks is we're going to go through and I'm just going to go through the comments and make sure you guys don't have any like really urgent, important questions. If you do, I do want to discuss them. That was the whole point of me going live here. So first question about the delisting. Do you sell NIO? We're going to talk about that in just 1 minute. So please hang tight. Yeah, again, we're going to be talking about all this in just 1 minute. So please just hang tight. I'm going to let you guys know. Again, I'm not going to tell you what to do because I'm not a financial advisor, but I'll give you my thoughts and I'll let you know what Larry Jones said as well. And oh, we have a super chat. So thank you, Razor, for the super chat. Hope everything is well with you and your family. Thanks for the latest video about risk management. Hey, you're really welcome for that. I really appreciate the super chat. Everything is going great. My newborn's doing well. Mom's doing well. I mean, outside of the fact nobody's sleeping, but we're doing great. So thank you so much for the super chat. It's really interesting. I put that risk management video up, and in my mind, it's probably one of the most important videos I put out all year. And yet it probably got the least number of views of any video I put up. And it's just really interesting to me that it seems like a lot of people that watch YouTube videos, they just want hype. They just want to know what stock's going to go 10x. They're just going to buy it blindly. And I don't know, just maybe nobody's in it for the long run. They just want to gamble. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah, that risk management video is crucial if you want to be a long-term investor and you want to, retire one day and you want to get rich. You want to become a millionaire. You can do it, but you got to have risk management. You can't just gamble. So I appreciate the comment. I really do. And thank you so much for the super chat. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, we're going to, you're saying we're going to talk about the tickers QQQ, SPY, DIA in just a minute here, because I do want to give you guys a market update. Yeah, we're going to talk about the market in just 1 minute. So hold tight on that. Let's see. Yeah, you are absolutely correct. If we're holding foreign companies the same standards as U.S. companies, it is a good thing. Well, it's a good thing for U.S. investors. Absolutely. So let's see. It looks like we got more breaking news. I haven't confirmed this. I'll just put it up on the screen for you guys to read. Again, I don't know anything about this, but if it's true, that could be a problem for the European markets. I don't know if that's really going to affect the U.S. markets that much right now, though. All right, let's keep it going here. All right, I'm just going through, seeing if you guys have any more questions. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that, AA. It's just a matter of time until it's everywhere. But right now, I mean, people are saying it's not like that strong of a variant. Like it's very mild symptoms. So I really don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But who knows what politicians are going to do? I mean, I have no clue what politicians are going to do. Let's see. I just want to see if you guys had any other questions. Here's a question. No, I am not. He kind of fell off the radar for a while, and so I just, I just stopped with him. Um, yeah, the thing about these booster shots, like, look, this thing is going to become endemic. I mean, at some point, I think Malaysia was the first country to change it from pandemic to endemic. Endemic, just it's like a flu or a cold or whatever. It's around every year. Um, Eventually, we'll get there, but it's just going to take time for people to wake up. Okay, it doesn't look like you guys have any questions on the breaking news, so let's get to the stock picks real fast. Before we do that, I'll just talk about the markets real fast. So we'll start with DIA, which is Dow Jones ETF, and um, as we know, like it's pretty much right as expected. We had the drop that we expected. We had the rebound Thursday that I talked about yesterday. So far, everything is behaving perfectly as expected. It is still bearish. And I think we probably get a rebound somewhere up here. I don't know if it's going to be like this 353 level or if it's going to be maybe, yeah, I don't know exactly, maybe the 350 level, but somewhere in here it should get before it continues dropping further. I don't know if that's going to happen Friday or not. It just, again, depends upon the job numbers, but we'll see what happens on that. Uh, and most of the charts are going to be exactly the same market chart wise. Here we have SPY, which is an S&P 500, and you get the exact same chart. You got that drop. You have the rebound today, right up against. It looks like about 461 would be the top on this before we continue this going down, and then QQQ is the exact same chart, right? This one you're looking at about 392 to 394, topping out before it continues going back down. So all of those, all the charts are the same. It's still bearish. It still looks like we're in a correction. We still have plenty of news that could cause the markets to continue to go down, especially the debt limit, the debt crisis that's coming up in 2 weeks. The government, Democrats and Republicans are just completely disagree on that. So that's going to be the real kicker in about 2 weeks. And like I said, I do think we're going to see the markets continue to go down for 2 weeks, but day to day, who knows? Like literally, who knows? Plus, on top of not only all the bad news we have coming out right now, but on top of that, we also have the fact that we're at the end of the year and a lot of people are doing tax loss harvesting. I got to get a video out talking about tax loss harvesting, but essentially, it's just people are selling losses in order to offset gains. And so a lot of stocks, especially like high growth stocks, Russell index stocks that were down massively on the year. People are selling them and they just keep dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And they're probably going to continue to drop through the end of the month. So all of that's causing downward pressure on this. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. Let's get into the actual stock picks. We're going to start with SHIB, which is Shiba Inu. And what do we have on this? Oh, sorry, I forgot. Where is it? So I have my little tags up here for you guys because you had asked. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start with Shiba Inu here. And SHGB, as you can see, it continued to fall on Thursday after failing to show confirmation of a rebound on Tuesday. Despite the short-term drop in price, Keen and Grace let us know that the long-term outlook is getting better for SHIB. Now, apparently, there's talk of a possible Shiba Inu NFT game that, if implemented, would significantly reduce the SHIB token supply. And if that happens, since the supply would go down, that would cause an upward price pressure on the coin price. Now, further, a Shiba Inu NFT game would also open up the door for the possibility of SHIB becoming a metaverse cryptocurrency. Of course, all this is just a rumor for now, and any launch of a game would take, it'd be at least a year out. So again, very, very long-term catalyst. But in the short term, this remains quite bearish, and I continue to believe this is going to trade flat or slightly down for the time being, just based upon the technicals. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is CHGG. This is Chegg. They're an education company that provides a wide range of textbook services to students. Zip Trader considered whether or not now would be a good time to buy CHGG, considering the fact that it's down 75% from highs, from $115 all the way down to about $29. So to answer that, you really need to understand why CHGG has been dropping. CHGG ran up massively going into the pandemic and expectations of just significant user growth. And in fact, they did see that. But now the shutdowns are ending, growth is slowing. And actually, on their last earnings call, CHGG reduced their year-end revenue guidance. So the question is, has CHGG fallen too far? Well, this orange line that I drew here, this goes all the way back to a support level last seen in May or June of 2018. We're talking over 3 years ago. And what's interesting about that is back in 2018, CHGG had 1/3 the number of subscribers and 1/2 the earnings. So they've got 3 times the number of subscribers, double the earnings that they did 3.5 years ago when it was last at the share price. And the fact is, based upon that, I mean, CHGG should be trading at double the price that it's currently at. But the real question is, what is the fair value? Forget the 2018 numbers. What is a fair value for CHGG? Now, fundamentally, CHGG has a price to earnings ratio of 24.34 and a price to sales ratio of 5.63. So it's not quite a value stock. It's still priced like a growth stock. Although, it's a growth stock with much lower growth potential than it has seen in the past. So just keep in mind, though, that CHGG is an actual growth stock. I mean, they're still seeing 50% growth every year. So from a growth stock perspective, CHGG is slightly undervalued. So if you're interested in CHGG, now would be a fair price to buy in at. It's not quite undervalued yet. But it's also not grossly overvalued like it was back when it was trading at $115 a share. So I think it's back down to a fair value. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is CRSR. This is Corsair Gaming, and they're a hardware manufacturer for computer-based gaming and game streaming. Germany with Financial Education listed CRSR as one of the best stocks to buy now, and I completely agree. Fundamentally, CRSR was seeing revenue growth every quarter up until the last quarter. Now, the problem with that is the past quarter was compared to the height of the pandemic shutdowns when everybody was buying computers. So it's not really a fair comparison. That said, CRSR is profitable, so we can actually look at the forward PE ratio to determine a fair price. And if we take a look at that, there we go. Looks like CRSR has a PE ratio of 16.15 and a price to sales ratio of 1.15. Guys, that is very undervalued compared to the average PE ratio of computer companies, which often trade in the 20s and 30s. And the price to sales ratio of 1.15, that is very cheap for a growth company. So actually, CRSR is in the unique position of being both a value stock and a growth stock. The only issue I see with CRSR is that in the short term, it's still kind of a falling knife. It's oversold on the RSI, which is good. So that means it might rebound soon. But there's a good chance that it's just going to keep dropping because, again, everybody's tax loss harvesting right now. And that could cause the price to continue to drop through the end of this year and then rebound massively in January. So personally, I'd be very happy waiting about 2 weeks and then loading up on CRSR. I mean, even at the current price, it's a great value for a long-term hold. I think it might even be cheaper 2 weeks from now after this correction is over and after most of the tax loss harvesting is completed. And the next one I'm going to talk about is GS. This is Goldman Sachs. Stockmo said he continues to buy GS and other banking stocks. Banking stocks will continue to perform well as the Fed increases interest rates next year. The PE ratio right now is pretty low. It's 6.49. It's like half of where it should be. So this is a great value play. The only issue I see with GS is that technically it's still bearish. Regardless of the technicals, GS is a great value for a long-term hold. So if you're interested in buying GS, I'd probably just dollar cost average into it. Okay, now the one everybody wants to know about, NIO. Okay, so this is NIO, they're a Chinese EV manufacturer, and NIO dropped over 11% on Thursday, although it did recover some of those losses, and it closed down a little over 5%. Now, Larry Jones, of course, said the reason that really Chinese stocks such as NIO are dropping is because the SEC finalized that rule that it's going to allow delisting of foreign securities if they don't meet the audit requirements. Now, of course, that caused a lot of fear, and that's why it's dropping. But here's the thing. Delisting only applies to companies who fail to meet audit requirements. And NIO is already in compliance with the U.S. audit regulations. So honestly, neither Larry Jones nor myself think NIO is going to get delisted. Regardless, the FUD caused the stock price to drop on Thursday. And unfortunately, after Thursday's drop, NIO technically is now falling knife with the candles below all of the EMAs, the RSI dropping, and the MACD dropping. Honestly, Larry Jones recommends not trying to catch this falling knife and just to stay away from Chinese stocks right now. I kind of agree with those thoughts. NIO is going to rebound eventually. It will. But you definitely don't want to try to catch a falling knife. And we just need all of this China FUD to go away before it's really going to be safe to invest in Chinese stocks again. The problem is as beat up as this thing is, as cheap as it is, you just never know. It's like, what's next? Like, seriously, every time you think it's cheap, every time you buy in, there's just something new that comes out and beats it down. So personally, I'm not going to touch any Chinese stocks right now. Most YouTubers are not touching any Chinese stocks right now. We just got to wait for all the Chinese FUD to blow over. Larry Jones, if you guys recall, he did buy NIO for a short-term swing trade. He was going to hold it up until the NIO day. And he just, I don't know if he actually sold it, but it sounds like he may have. Things change, right? Things change. Our plans change. Stocks that were bullish can turn bearish. Stocks that are bearish can turn bullish. Things change. So, what was true yesterday isn't necessarily true today. And that's certainly the case on NIO. So before I get to the last two, I am actually going to jump into the comments real fast. I just want to make sure that I've been answering you guys' questions. And I just realized I forgot to put all the little tickers up there. Sorry. Let me just go through and see kind of what questions you guys had and any other additional questions on NIO before we finish the last two. I'd really, let's see. Saying NIO won't get delisted. Same old, yeah, I completely agree. Let's see. You're saying the downturn in high growth stocks is not about that thing. It's due to the withdrawal of liquidity. You're absolutely correct. Let's see. Travel stocks in general have been completely beat down. But a lot of those fears I think are overblown. I think they're going to rebound and do just fine. But again, I never know what a politician is going to do in any country. We don't know what shutdowns are going to occur. So I don't know what's going to happen with them. I mean, they're risky right now. They're cheap, but they're risky. I'd say if you're going to buy in, it's got to be a long-term hold. Chris, thank you so much for the super chat. $19.99 super chat. Unfortunately, I can't see it, but it's a para character sliding on the floor with his knees saying, "Goal!" So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. Oh my goodness. Another super. Chris, come on, man. 2 super chats in a row. You are the man. Fist bump. Yes. Thank you, Chris. I love you, brother. You are amazing. Thank you. All right. Let's see if you guys have any other questions on any of this. Actually, Great FOMO, you bring up a good point. You think Corsair is going to explode and Metaverse gains traction. I agree. I honestly, I'm ready to load up on this thing in about 2 weeks here. I would love to just load up on that. It's a profitable company. It's beat down. I mean, absolutely. That is a stock that's going to just kill it. Chris, dude, thank you so much again for the $2 super chat. Really appreciate it. And here's another one, $5 super chat. Chris, brother, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Now save some of your money and go invest it. Don't give it all to me. Let's see. Any questions on Neo before we finish up here? As far as price targets, I cannot possibly give a price target on NIO. There's literally no guess at this point. It could be trading anywhere from 20 to 50. Like, I have no clue. Okay, so I got some clarification. I appreciate you guys. Larry did not sell his position. And somebody else says Larry doubled down. He may have. Yeah, he may have. So appreciate it, guys. I really appreciate the clarification on that. Yeah, so here's another guy saying Larry Jones doubled down on it. Okay, thank you guys so much for all of that clarification. Personally, it's above my risk tolerance right now to double down on NIO. But I do recall Larry saying that this was a short-term swing trade for him, and this is not like some kind of long-term hold. I know he said he sold out of his long-term positions, and this is going to be a short-term swing trade. So I do want to be clear on that. I mean, Larry's probably only going to hold this for another week or two, based upon what he had said prior. But doubling down on it, yeah, fine. That's above my risk tolerance, but like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, and everybody's got to do what's right for you. So I don't see any other questions about like NIO. Yeah, I know. Stockmo keeps buying NIO. He just buys. That's what happens when you have 500,000 YouTube subscribers and you're just making like crazy amounts of money and you just buy everything. All right, but obviously that's not me. Okay, let's finish up, guys. Next up is PLNHF, and this is Planet 13. So this is an MMJ retailer, and Germany with Financial Education listed PLNHF as one of the best stocks to buy now. While I agree with Germany that PLNHF will most likely do well in the long term, in the short term, the stock is struggling. Fundamentally, the stock has a price to sales ratio of 7.5. Now, keep in mind that stocks are considered value stocks once the price to sales ratio drops below 4. So honestly, PLNHF is still trading at a premium. Technically, it remains a falling knife, with all of the technicals being bearish. I would say if PLNHF drops down to like $1.85, then it would be a value stock, and that would be a price you might want to consider just loading up at. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to go that low, but if it does, I'd probably load up on it, and I'm sure Jeremy would too. But right now, it's a falling knife. Personally, I wouldn't touch it. But again, all of these stocks that have just been dropping for the past few months, all these high growth stocks, I'm 99% convinced that they're all going to rebound and just skyrocket starting in January. It's just a bunch of tax loss harvesting right now that's pushing all these stocks down. And same with the very last stock we're going to talk about, TDCF. This is Tattooed Chef. This is a plant-based foods company. Again, Germany with Financial Education listed TTCF is one of the best stocks to buy now. Jeremy said anytime it drops below $18, he's a heavy buyer of TTCF. Now, since TTCF isn't profitable yet, again, we're going to look at the price to sales ratio. And just like PLNHF, it's at 7.62. So again, still trading at a bit of a premium. It's not a value stock yet. TTCF could certainly continue falling from here. TTCF did break below a technical support level on Wednesday. So now technically it has become a falling knife again. By the way, for those of you guys that don't know, a falling knife is a stock that is bearish on all of the technicals, meaning there are no clear support levels below the current price. It means there's no telling how low the stock is going to fall before it bottoms out. So with a stock like TDCF or PLNHF, if you're interested in buying those for a long-term hold, like Germany with Financial Education is, like personally, I would wait for it to bottom out and show signs of rebounding before I would buy in. I know Jeremy with financial education is not a technical analyst at all. He just looks at fundamentals. And Jeremy is losing a lot of money on a lot of these stocks that he's bought in at. But I guarantee you, 3 years from now, he's going to be making a killing. But for the short term time being, he's losing a ton of money. So, and again, this is why I like to look at technicals in addition to fundamentals, because I can look at a fundamental analysis and determine, hey, is this a good company to invest in or not? And then I can go look at the technicals and I can determine, do I want to buy it now or do I want to wait? So with these, I would just personally wait, probably till the end of the year. Okay, that wraps it up with all of those. Oh, sorry, that was TTCF, Tattooed Chef. So that wraps it up with all of the stock picks. Let me just look through real comments. Okay, so there's a lot of stocks that had major reactions on earnings today. DocuSign was one that just saw a huge drop in everything. Or look, it's down 30% after hours. This is the thing when trading earnings can be very risky, especially on a stock that has a price to earnings ratio of 137 and a price to sales ratio of 30. I mean, come on, people. Like, you got to understand, when you invest in stocks that are this expensive, a price to earnings ratio, here's what technically that means. The price to earnings ratio, from a pure 100% fundamental standpoint, say, forget the stock market for a second, say I was going to buy a company, a price to earnings ratio is how many years it would take, basically, just one way of looking at it, how many years it would take for you to break even. So it's not truly that, but this is an easy way of kind of understanding it for a new investor. So imagine, is it worth it to buy a company if it's going to take 137 years for you to make up your money on it? Of course not. That's ridiculous. So when you have stocks that are trading at these huge, insane, ridiculous valuations, they have to have perfection every single quarter. And if they don't have perfection even one quarter, you get these 30% drops like we're seeing right now. So this is why I love value investing. This is why, you always hear me on the channel. I'm always like, wait for a dip, wait for it to drop, wait for it to bottom out, because of stuff like this. Because when you buy high, you end up having these major 30% drops, and then you have to sell low. And that's not how you make money. You got to buy low and sell high. So that's what makes Jeremy with financial education such an incredible investor. That's how he turned his $1 million portfolio into $2 million over the course of this year. Literally in 1 year, he's made, he deposited some money, but he's up $600,000 in the year. It realized gains. Forget the unrealized that he hasn't even taken profits on yet. But he realized he's up $600,000. And he does it by buying these stocks that are beat down, they're falling knives, that are dirt cheap, like Corsair Gaming. And, I don't think TDCF and Planet 13 are quite there yet, but he buys these stocks that just keep getting beat down and beat down and beat down. And then 2-3 years later, he's up like 1,000%. That's how you do it, guys. Okay. So the next thing that I want to talk about real fast is I have some big news for you guys concerning the channel. So I want to pull this up and I'm going to show you guys this. Let me pull up the little caption for it so you guys can see it. It's this channel right here. And I want to show you the what's going on. Gonna zoom this in a little bit. And can you guys see that? Can you see that? 50,800 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Like, seriously. By the way, this all happened literally today. Larry Jones just recommended his viewers come on over and check out my channel. And like over 1,000 people from Larry Jones have now come over and subscribed. So first of all, a big thank you to Larry Jones for recommending my channel. Second of all, a big thank you to everybody who is a Larry Jones subscriber who came on over and is now subscribed to the Stock Curry channel. Thank you guys so much for everybody that's been with me for the past year, who has been a subscriber, for everybody that supported me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who subscribed. You guys are awesome, amazing. So I'm going to be doing a special live video at some point this month. I don't know when, but I'm going to be putting together some merch and doing some giveaways, just as my way of giving back and saying thank you to you guys for supporting me. I want to just give back to you guys. So we're going to be doing some merch and some giveaways and a live celebratory video a little bit later this month. But man, this is just so exciting. I've been waiting for this for months. You guys know it. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. And oh my gosh, now we got some congratulatory super chats. Thank you so much, B-Dog, for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, John, for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who has just congratulated me. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you haven't already, please just hit that like button, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, follow the page. If you're on Twitter, follow the Twitter. Just thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys. Yeah, Larry Jones is just, he's an awesome guy. Absolutely. Oh, you're saying Chris Zane mentioned me? All right, I didn't know that, but thank you so much, everybody. Thank you again for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate it. I believe me, I appreciate you guys for watching and subscribing just as much as I'm sure as you guys appreciate me. You guys know I didn't start this channel to just go and blow it up. I never even wanted to be a YouTuber. I was helping out people in some forums on like Facebook and Reddit, and people started asking me just for an overwhelming amount of information that I actually had. And I just put the question out one day and I'm like, would it be helpful if I just made YouTube videos? And everybody's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, give it a shot. And literally my very first video had like over 300 views, which is just unheard of for your first video. And then literally 10 days after I started, we were at 1,000 subscribers. Literally hit 1,000 subscribers in 10 days, which is unheard of. So I've been blown away by how much God has blessed me. I've been blown away by how much support that you guys have given me. So I just thank you guys so much. I really thank you. Target date for 100,000 next year sometime. Absolutely. We're going to hit 100,000 next year. It's going on my goal list. For those of you guys who don't know, every year I set goals. If you go back and watch some of my really old videos from early this year, you can't make it out, but there's some sheets of paper on the wall and you can see a little bit of highlighting, some like black marker on there and stuff. And basically it was just all my goals that I'd written down in December of 2020 that I wanted to accomplish in 2021. And the crazy thing is I put the YouTube channel, make 1,000 subscribers, and we blew that out of the water. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. That's it. That's what I got for you guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I will let you guys know when the next that celebratory video comes out and we get some merch and we get some giveaways. I did want to let you know real fast, I've got something new for you guys as well that I'm working on. So let me type this up real fast so you guys can see it. Let's see. So I am putting, let's see if I can do this. Okay. A little premature. You guys are the very first people to see this. So I want to, yeah, you guys are the very first people that are going to see this. So I'm really excited for what I'm about to show you. But there we go. Let's get that on the screen. So I have a new website that I am building out called Stock Curry Education. And what I'm going to be doing is the trainings that I put up, like, for example, that risk management video, basically that I put out yesterday. I took out all of the daily stock picks and I just left in the actual training. And so I put that up here. The Webull setup guide, like how to set up all the EMAs and the RSI and the MACD on Webull. I put that up here. And I'm just going to keep adding these courses for you guys to be able to just come in and just, sign up and take these courses and just learn, right? So anyway, I've got that up for you guys. So if you guys want to check it out, it's stockcurryeducation.com. And I'm going to be putting a bunch more courses up there. So again, it's something I'm trying to help you guys out with based upon the feedback we got in the last live video. Jimmy, you're not wrong. He does call himself Steph Curry. But come on, man. My name is Curry, the real Curry. All right, I'm gonna date myself. But will the real Curry please stand up? Ugh, come on. Okay. Anyway, thank you, Collection, for the $5 super chat. Give your take on OT. Okay, I'll do this real fast, but seriously, this is gonna do it. We gotta sign off. I gotta get to bed. I'm on 4 hours of sleep. I don't know anything about this company, so all I can do is look at the technicals. And buddy, you got another falling knife here. Falling knife. So we got all the candles below all the EMAs, RSI dropping, MACD dropping. You have the RSI at oversold. Let's go find a prior support level. I'm just going to take the horizontal line, and we're going to come back here, and we're going to find this level. It looks like we had a bunch of bounces right here. So I'm going to pop those bounces on there. And then what I'm going to do is scroll to the right and see where we're at. We're not quite there yet. Support on this one is going to be $7.63. So that is a possible place where this will bottom out. But when you have a falling knife, you just never know. It could get down to $7.63 and just stay there for 5 days and then keep falling. Or it could get down to $7.63, rebound, and start going back up. You don't know. So I appreciate the super chat. Unfortunately, this one is a falling knife with no telling where the bottom will be. Okay. And yes, thank you again one last time for Larry, who sent all these viewers over here. Really appreciate you, Larry Jones. Really appreciate everybody who came and really that fast. We've already got more of these scammers. Guys, don't ever send crypto to anybody that you don't know. Just don't do that. Early on, about 6 months ago, I had somebody get scammed. I don't know how much they got scammed. They never said, but they sent somebody a crypto on like WhatsApp or something. Please don't do that. Hold on to your crypto, put it in a Ledger wallet or something, or keep it in your exchange, keep it in Webull. Please don't send it to people. All right, guys, I appreciate you all. Have a great night. I'm going to sign off. I hope everybody has a lot of success trading. Yeah, one last reminder, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification if you're on YouTube. If you haven't already, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Real Scott Curry. That's facebook.com/Real Scott Curry and twitter.com/Real Scott Curry. And then if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter and you're not currently a subscriber on YouTube, you can go subscribe at youtube.com/Stock Curry. So thank you guys for everything. I hope you guys have a lot of success trading. We'll be back on Monday. And like I said, once I get a date and time on the celebratory video, I'll let you guys know on that. And we're just going to have a ton of fun with just giveaways and all kinds of fun stuff. So have a great night. Thank you so much for joining me. And we will see you on Monday.